Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's APL Power Hour. Wow, we got a lot of people here. We got, let's see, Gold Zulu, Jomo Code, Rashi Rafi. I'm not familiar with you, but welcome. Trade Less, welcome. Little Defeat, Oxygen Box, W. Giorgio, Bondad. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for chatting in the chat. I'm going to put a little something in the chat for you right now that I want to highlight. And let me put that URL in. So this URL is how you get signed up for our Alexa community Slack, which is something we recently launched. We're not going in heavy promo on it yet. So you're early. You're getting sort of the exclusive. And if you see me looking over here away from the camera, it's because I got like two monitors and I got everything. Camera's here in the middle, and then everything is here and here. So excuse me if I'm not always looking straight at the camera and making meaningful eye contact. So go and get yourself signed up for the Alexa Design, the Alexa Community Slack at that URL, alexa.design/Slack. And that will get us, that will get you into our Slack, which has a special APL channel where I've posted a question on what you'd like to see on this stream in coming weeks. And you can answer that as well. We'll have we'll have the Power Hour after hours going on. So first question. I got some background music, playing it really low, sort of like this. Which do you prefer? Background on, background off? Post in the comments. Trying to get that a little lower. It's on a 3. There we go. It's on a 2 now. All right. So we got one vote for Ron. While we're doing that, I turn that off. So while we're doing that, the reason I want you to get signed up for the Slack. I'm sorry, Joe, you can barely hear the music. Well, the idea is it's just really, really, really light. Hey, 14 here. Wait, 15 on Twitch and 14 on YouTube. I am stoked. That's 29 people. That's a lot. I'm happy. Thank you all for joining us. Anyways, the Slack that I have highlighted right here in over here. Yes, the Slack that I have highlighted right here. That has an APL channel, and so we're going to do some Q&A at the end of our hour, and hopefully we're going to have some folks from the APL team, at least one, joining us to help out with the Q&A. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll that over to the Slack APL channel for after hours, for Power Hour after hours. So I'm hoping you all join me there, and we'll have a lot of fun, and we'll chat for another 20, 30 minutes, get questions answered, get things off our chests, and have some fun and explore the new Slack. But what is our first thing to explore for today's stream? And this is this one is a this one's one of part of our GitHub repos. It's actually not made by my team. It's made by our product management team. Let me pull up. Oh, I have so many windows open. This is one of the things I forget about all this is how interesting it is to just manage all these windows and all these scenes. But so I'm going to pop up this and we'll bring it up. So this is skill sample Node.js responsive layouts. And what's really great about it is that it gives us an opportunity to really, it demonstrates a number of the responsive layouts in our layouts packages and a number of our responsive components. But it's not just, it calls itself a tutorial, but I don't really see it so much as a tutorial because it doesn't go deep into how you do these. It just shows you what you can do. But for me, what I really like to call it is I like to call it a playground, because this is a great way to get a lot of our responsive components and tutorials already put into a skill so that you can mess around with the existing code, experiment, see what happens. And, because it is one of our GitHubs, you can always just go developer.amazon.com, Amazon Alexa, head over to our console. Create a skill. We'll call it Respond to Me. Make sure it's a custom. Make sure it's Alexa hosted Node.js. We go to create skill. And the repo makes it possible for you to just put in the repo's URL here to import it. Now, I could create a whole new one, but I have one from earlier practicing. So, okay, cool. Gold Zulu mentions that there is also a great demo of APL like the one in the Skillflow Builder. That's possible. We'll get to that another day. Today, we're going to look at this. I'm not going to actually import it because I already did. I have it in a skill called, that's the wrong skill. I have it in a skill called Respond Now. Now, one of the things that I do is I will turn off my background music once I'm actually going to have Alexa start talking, because I don't want you to miss an erg of what Alexa says. We can go over here to test. And one of the most important things about this for me anyways is, and we'll just enlarge this a little bit, is when I'm doing this and I'm really trying to test out my, something like this where I don't really need to see what's coming through here between the skill and the device and everything, or between my skill and the Alexa service. What I will do is I will just turn off the skill IO and I will turn off the device log is off by default. But if you haven't used the device log when you're trying to debug your APL, you're doing yourself you're not doing yourself any favors. Device log is really useful when you're debugging your APL. But for this, we've got a Medium hub right here. We will open Respond Now.
Select a tutorial.
And there we get our selection screen. I am actually going to redo this because sometimes if part of the screen is like off the screen or you've been changing stuff, you get that dark line down at the bottom. Let me actually make this a little smaller. Uh, and it's not, it's just a little quirk of the test thing. It won't show up on your device, but I want this to look as much like the device as possible.
Found a few matches for that. Do you mean the soundtrack of Now, A Sojourn in Sound, TM?
And you typo and you mess up. Open, respond now. So yes, I am a touch typist by muscle memory. Because of, I'm not even going to show you what goes on with my pinky finger, but it just made it really hard for me to learn the standard touch typing home row. So I am basically just a like, let's call it a four-fingered, six-fingered typist. And I do it all just because I've been typing on computer keyboards for so long. I know where the keys are, but I still mess it up.
Select a tutorial.
We're getting that. Okay. Well, we'll work with it. So, one of the first things we'll pull up is one of the most basic tutorials.
Select a layout.
We'll go with the Alexa headline.
The Alexa headline template displays short, informational text string on the screen. This is a full screen template that can include a header, footer, and background.
Okay, and so the great thing here is if we go, I actually have this for making it a little easier to view code, but I'm going to bring that down because we'll go straight into our code editor. And we'll just throw another test window in there. Make this full screen, pop things up. Everything visible for everybody? And Grepit asks about showing how to use the day control to collect the time field. Actually, there is there's a demo I was going to look at in here because we actually do that. We get time in the analog clock. So we'll get to that actually. So this is good. People can read this. I'm going to unhighlight Gold Zulu's comment because yes, it's wonderful, but it's not necessary at the moment. Gold Zulu says bit more on this. Okay. This should do. Now, if we go into our documents and display, we have all of our templates here. And we can actually go to Alexa headline and see the template.json. So let's see here. We'll make that a little bit bigger. And this is it. This is the whole demo right here, right? This is the whole screen. Now we can go back here. Yes, you can go back here. We'll pull that back up again one more time. But okay.
Select a tutorial. Select a layout. The Alexa headline template displays short, informational text string on the screen. This is a full screen template that can include a header, footer, and background.
Now, the thing is that now that we've got this, we can start making changes to this. And the important thing is to pull up something like this, which is the developer documentation for, hey, Zella.b, or I'm never sure how to pronounce that. Thank you for joining. I'm going to bring up the documentation for the headline layout. We'll put that there. And we will bring it up here. Bring that down a little bit in size. But as you can see, there are a number of options here that you have for that layout, right? But they're not all being used. Let's bring this over so they're right next to each other. They're not all being used here. So the great thing about this is that we can then start experimenting. I really should like make this its own thing. See if we can. Oh, yeah, that's one of the problems trying to keep this all large enough for you to read. But so we'll make it a little smaller. And so we have, for example, here in the console, we have a header attribution image. We have a background image, right? We can always take that out. Yeah, it doesn't like to do that on JSON. We can always take it out. I'm going to actually cut and paste it to somewhere else. And instead, what I'll do is I'll add in a background color. Let's see. I want to go with something sort of a deep blue. What's a royal blue, right? Let's go with royal blue. X for royal blue. Yeah, we've got a few different ones. We'll go with 4169E1. And our comma. Save. And I'm just going to go back to my documentation, which is now not in there. There we go. I'm actually going to move this back up. Hey. So we'll move this back into here. There we go. And we've got, let's make sure we're doing background color correctly. Right. Background color, color. We should be fine. When you don't have a background image source or video source, you can substitute a color. And you know, this is probably obvious to most of you, but I'm just sort of showing how it's easy to mess around with these templates and get an idea of, you know, all the play with the different things that you can play with in a sort of safe sandboxed area, because this is just a selection of 19 templates and components that you can mess with. So we'll go with this. We got that. We'll save, deploy, and go back to our tester. I'm going to bring this down a touch in size. We'll just make sure that deploy's done.
Select a tutorial. Select a layout. The Alexa headline template displays short, informational text string on the screen. This is a full screen template that can include a header, footer, and background.
So, you know, just sort of something simple. And this is why I wanted to show this one off. Just a sort of simple for the people who are newer or who are not experts. We have a few of you who are, and I probably don't know as much as you do. I'm just trying to help out. But wow, I gotta like scroll way up and find my last thing. There we go. Take that out. But there are more that are interesting. Actually, one that I like as just a demo, for showing off some of the things that can be done,
Select a tutorial.
is actually over here in the APL recipes.
Select a recipe.
And this is the send event on video end. So this allows you to play a video and then send an event that then creates something else, another response when the video is done. So let's give that a try. And I hope that most of you know of Big Buck Bunny.
This speech is triggered in the video ended handler. You can say go back to go to the previous screen.
And so that's the cool thing. We can now go back here over to our console here where we got all our code. We can actually look at this video on end document, right? Look in the template.json. And right here, we're sending an event, we're sending the video ended. And then we can go and we can hunt down the video ended handler. It's probably, is it in the index or is it in the utils? I should have written that down, but we'll go look at both. So right here, we've got the video ended handler. And we're just using that in the can handle. Instead of getting an intent request, we are getting an Alexa presentation APL user event. And this is the event that's been sent. And then we handle it with that. So I like that. You get to see the way things are done. You can dissect them. You can pull it apart. Not all of you are as old as me. Many of you are not. But, one of my favorite stories is of Hadi Partavi and his brother. He's the guy who started code.org. Pretty famous in this neck of the woods. When he was a kid, he was living in Iran, and his father brought home a Commodore 64. At that time, they didn't have the internet. I don't even think they were able to get copies of Compute magazine. But the Commodore 64 had a manual like this thick, describing pretty much every aspect of Commodore Basic and then some. And they just went through the manual and just started reading what can I do, and got inspired by that. And that's one of the great things about this kind of code too, is that you can read through it. You can go through, see what it's doing. You can take it apart. I mean, for me, like Compute magazine, we used to have to type in basic programs from a magazine back in the day. But we would we would learn from actually reading other people's code, and I think it still works today. So we are about 25 minutes in. there are a couple of things I need to do here. Just make sure. Check in with one of our people who might join us a little later. Um, and so one of the things uh, that I wanted to bring up is we are going to be using this time also not just for me to go, hey, look at this great thing in our docs and our GitHub. This is what I'm starting with. Actually, something that I wanted to launch today actually was going to have to wait until next week. So this was a bit of a last minute substitution, but I think it's still a really cool repo that you can learn a lot from, and you can do a lot of playing with in sort of a safe way, because you don't have to worry about breaking it. It's not your code. So you can just mess with it as much as you want. But the other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be celebrating cool stuff that y'all are making. Um, you know, bless Alexander Martin for creating APL.Ninja. And we're not going to go and visit it today, but we will be visiting it on the regular. I've been talking with Alexander. He didn't want to come on stream because his English is not his first language, but I'm doing some sort of email interview with him that I may like. I doubt I'll do a puppet show because I doubt Alexander wants to be represented by my dinosaur. But I'll do a little story on how APL.Ninja came to be, and then we'll walk through some of the stuff. But we're going to use a number of things from there just to walk through them, see how they're made, maybe bring their creators on. If you want to pitch doing a 5 or 10 minute lightning talk about something you've built, I want you to DM me in the Alexa community Slack, or DM me on Twitter. You can see my Twitter right there. It's at Let My People Code. DM me in Twitter or on the Alexa community Slack. Let me know that you want to talk about something you've created. You want to do a lightning talk on something it doesn't even have to be something you've created. It's like you could say, hey, this is my favorite feature of APL and I want to do a quick talk on it. And we may invite you on to come do a talk, because this is all about our community. We exist for you, the community, and we want to celebrate you. But one of the things is because we'll get to that. This is not even me recognizing something from the chat. It's like me recognizing that I promised something and that I want to get to that first because it leads into it. So the one thing that I talked about real quick here was we would go back. I need to make this smaller so we can do this, and then we can go back in our display. Because there's another recipe that we
select a tutorial.
About. We go to our APL recipes.
Select a recipe.
And we have the analog clock.
This example demonstrates how to create an analog clock that works with the local time.
And so I was like, when I first saw this, I was mystified by how it worked. And so there's a little trick to it, and we'll talk about it momentarily. But one of the great things is that we can actually go over to its code, analog clock, and look at it. And, like I searched through when I first saw this, I searched through the JavaScript and I couldn't find anything about the clock. And I was like, how does this keep updating? What is updating it? And what's updating it, honestly, is that the time value is data bound and the time value keeps changing. And so the data binding on the time value is driving all the motion. Or if I'm wrong, correct me. But that was a very interesting thing. And we've got local time here. And it's that simple. Time is local time. That's data bound. It's a parameter here. And so we're able to use time functions to pull out the minutes, the hours, the seconds, and then divide our clock's motion over that and then pivot around this central point. And so we come back here and we've actually, you can actually see it here. We've got the minute hand is the bottom layer, hour hand, second hand, then the cap. And so the second hand will always display over the minute hand. If the minute hand is, what is it? What was our order? Yeah, minute, hour. So if the minute hand is directly on the same axis as the hour will be the primary. And they all have a slight border. But yeah, it's really fairly simple, just using local time, which is not otherwise defined here. We're data binding to it from the docs, and we can always go into the docs. Now, one of the things about the docs is, hopefully I would wish we implement a better search, but what I might do is I might go in and do the Google. We actually have data binding evaluation. And we have data binding contexts. So we have the time functions. We have UTC time and the local time of the device so that you can create these clocks and you can use them. And so the thing that really, I started looking up more about time. And so I'm going to embarrass somebody who may or may not be on the stream right now because I'm going to feature their GitHub repo on this. But Frank Borke, who has done, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right too, who has done a number of really cool demos, and I believe he's got a few on APL.ninja, has a fun repo on his GitHub called Alexa API Time API Abuse. And it really does a number of things with the time functionality that are pretty cool. And what we can do, he writes it up pretty well, but it's real easy for us to come in here, just go to that Fun with Time API APL JSON, and we'll go to raw, copy it out. And then from the developer console, you really want to be, if you need to get to the APL authoring tool, it's always here in the build tab of your developer console. And we can create a new visual response. And we don't have to save it or do anything. We'll start from scratch. We'll throw it into APL here, and we'll just replace that with Francs. And you can see that it's using this, it's spinning the rocket. It changed this, changing this, the size of the hearts, doing the phases of the moon, rapidly changing this diamond animation and changing these stars. And it's flickering this color, high speed. And then this is a slow speed. It's, it's very cool. And you can go in here and you can mess around with it, because that's one of the great things is it's all just JSON. It's not like it's not assembler code. It's not machine code. And you can start, as they do things, you can look at some of the ways that they're being done. So I don't have a whole lot of time to go over this. I just want to point it out to you. I am going to bring up that URL and put it up here in the chat. And so here's the Gold Zulu. Oh, you want the booming voice? What? Actually, if I can get the thing that I wanted to do this week out next week, which I'm really hoping for, it does have my announcer voice in it. Whenever I need voiceovers, thanks to years of training as a comedian and theatrical person, I can do the announcer voice, or welcome to Movie Phone. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So can do that stuff. And I do my own VOs. That should be, I should make a t-shirt of that. I do my own voiceovers. But let me check to make sure that our friend is there. And I am going to invite our friend to join us in the stream. So, Bachrox, you are here. Yes, you can join us in the stream on camera if you like, or you can stay in the chat. And I will share your stuff. But if you're in the chat, let's see here. Hello. It doesn't tell me. That's interesting. Oh yeah, it does. It gives me a little indicator of whether you're coming from, whether the chat's coming from Twitch or YouTube. So let's see. The last comment from YouTube was Master Pig 5. Hello, hope you're still with us. And Frederick Alice. So that's interesting. Okay, this is my first time multicasting to both things. I hope you're all enjoying this. And so yeah, when I'm talking about Gold Zulu's warning, I need to highlight it so everybody knows. And we are going to add Mr. Austin to our stream. And I am going to do it in this way.
Hey, can everyone hear me?
And then I can share my screen. Okay. Whoa.
Okay, I can't hear everybody else. Sorry for that. Let me take 1 second here.
Okay, I can hear you, Austin. But wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. I can hear people again.
Okay. So we'll do it like this. Austin's over here. Austin's up in the right hand, middle, and I'm still down in the corner. But yeah, wow, that little strobing effect. We'll get rid of that because that was still sitting down in my thing. Um, technology is technology is easy, and if you've used it before, new technology is hard. Um, so, so Austin, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Everybody, can you hear Austin? Shout it out.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Valero.
So people can hear Austin. So now we are at in our last 20 minutes, which is when we bring in some people who know way more about APL than I do. Although I am learning, this is now my new specialty, so I am getting up to speed. And first we'll do the great ventriloquist thing. I will take a drink while Austin sings.
Sure. You take that drink. I'll say hi to everybody. Thanks for having me on the stream today. I'm a product manager in APL, working on APL for audio, and starting to expand my scope into this area as well. So I'm Bachrox there in the chat if you have questions or if you've seen me pop up on different streams.
Cool. So let me just remove Gold Zulu's last quote that we highlighted. And now what I would love to do is we are going to take some questions from the audience. If you have questions about APL, this is sort of the 20-minute office hours. And then we will take that at the end over to our new Alexa community Slack. Let me put the URL in again. Let me put in that URL so you can join it if you haven't already. And we will head on over to the APL section after this of the Slack so we can answer a few more questions and have those stay alive for a while in the Slack. So, does anybody have any questions? Dead air. No. If nobody has any questions, I'll interview Austin.
So we got one here.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know, is there any Alexa quiz skill using APL? So we do have quiz skills using APL. I have to dig up the specific link to the skill name, but I can look that up later and share that in the chat if you want to see kind of how those types of skills are utilizing APL visuals. I'll make a note of that and I'll put it in the Slack group.
All right. So that's good. And we have a question here. I'll go with Frederick Alls. And is it Alls or Alles? We won't dive deep on the pronunciation, but if you can tell us. The question is it possible to make an Alexa skill which responds to the surrounding volume? Which would be the volume coming in through the mic, not the volume of what's playing. Because I know I had a little trouble getting the audio meter skill going in the problem in the GitHub repo that I was showing off earlier. But that would have responded to the audio coming out, not the audio going in. So Austin, do you know? Do we have anything that measures mic loudness?
Not that I'm aware of. So you wanted to respond based on the volume of the input, like the room audio. Yeah, I don't think we have that ability because what's passed to the skill is just the user's intent. We do not pass just raw audio to developers.
All right. I gotta post Frederick's follow up here. The reason Frederick was asking is because Frederick has a very loud neighbor who's screaming all the time and wanted Alexa to scream back.
That's
If we can figure out how to make that, I'd love it. I'd just put it in a room with my two sons. So whenever they started arguing, Alexa could join in. All right. So let's see here. This will be good. We'll bring this in from Napster Naps. Is the APL video element supposed to end session when set to autoplay? Apparently, they're having different Echo 8 devices behaving differently. Pardon me. A little bit of that punch went down wrong on the last sip.
Okay. Is video supposed to end session when set to autoplay? I don't know off the top of my head. I
would say from what we just did with the Big Buck Bunny, it did that. Because Big Buck Bunny didn't need me to start it. It started up by itself. It was auto playing. And it sent the video ended when it finished. Might it be a difference between different generations of Echo 8s or?
Well, so what you sent was the video ended event. I think what they're asking is the entire skill session and whether or not that will auto, if it will close out your skill session. I don't believe that it should, but I have to double check that. So I've written that down. I'll follow up in the Slack. That's Napster Naps. Just ping me, so I know who you are when you get to that Slack channel, and then I can mention you there.
All right. And also Napster Naps, if you are on the if you're on our Alexa community Slack, you know, your brain goes weird ways. I was like, okay, if you're on our community Slack, Slack. Yes, there we go. If you're on our community Slack, please share the name that you're using there to make it easy for everybody to find your stuff. We've got a number of comments already in there, and we will be jumping over there in about 10 minutes. Let's see here. So, okay, that's an interesting behavior that Napster Nap is describing. I'll just put that up there for Austin because I don't know if he's seeing all the different chat. Are you?
I'm not seeing the YouTube one. I'm seeing what's happening here in Twitch. But so thanks for posting that. Some Alexas respond to Alexa stop ending the video, and some keep playing even when back to the home screen. Oh, okay. Well, Alexa stop should end everything. and return to the home and end the skill session. So if you have an example of when that's not happening, if you could let me know, and we'll cut an issue for that, because Alexa stop should end skill session. Bondad had a question in Twitch about whether or not you can use APLA in reprompt. The answer today is no. You can't. You can use the current reprompt method after, but you can't put APLA audio or mixed audio in a reprompt. That is something that we plan to enable in the near future.
So one thing is we got a question more about getting into AI or ML as a profession. And I think that would definitely go to you, Austin, because I'm the wavy hands person with a degree in creative writing. I'm self-taught on computers. Do you have any advice on what they should do alongside their college curriculum?
I would just encourage you to just kind of build out experiments, and little apps that take advantage of it, or that use it. So creating skills is a great way to build that skill set. And I think as it comes time to look for internships and other opportunities, those are great ways to stand out and to get your kind of first job in the space.
So, and I'll show you all something here. We have view all skills. It shows my first 5. I'm going to show you the first skill in my account. And as you can see, the last time it was updated was February 13th, 2017. And I've been playing with Alexa. I stopped playing with Alexa after that for a while, but get in there and make stuff. This particular skill got me out to tech conferences in 2 states and 2 continents. So I got to show off that skill in Amsterdam, in California, and I believe Texas. So, just making stuff that really sort of pings. This is my advice to all young technologists: is build passion projects, build things that really ping at your brain, because those passion projects are going to be the things where you really put your most originality and creativity into them. And that's really going to make them shine. So find some, as the old saying goes, a student goes to his professor and says, "How do I learn Python?" And the professor says, "Find a problem you really want to solve and solve it with Python."
Right. Yeah, that's great advice. Just build those things. There's going to be things in your life which you wish were automated. Start with that.
Mm-hmm. And so we had this question from Zilla.b, and it was in our Twitch stream, and Austin answered in chat. So I'm just going to say, Zilla.b asked, "Austin, will we also get a new version of APLA with APL 1.6? And Austin answered that they are released separately, so we won't have changes bundled with 1.6. But if I recall correctly, 0.9 bundled with 1.5, or they were pretty close together?
We didn't bundle it, but we had our we shared a blog post because they came out at the same time, and right now they are separate, but they can be used together. So we are considering kind of bundling those moving forward, but with 1.6 and the next couple of APL releases that we're working on, they'll stay separate for now, especially since APLA was a public beta. That's why it's a 0.9 release. Once we go GA and past and updates after that, you might start seeing combined releases.
Awesome. And Gold Zulu asks, when will 1.6 be released? And my answer to that is, we can't tell you.
Yeah.
Even we only have a general idea. But when it is, expect us to spend some serious time digging into it here on the APL Power Hour. Oh, and Trade Last brings in the Reindeer Games tutorial from January 8th, 2016. Or is that August 1st, 2016? I don't know if you're doing European or American dates. But yeah, that was Reindeer Games was actually my first tutorial that I took. And then I created my my robot thing, which actually rolls a Sphero around the room. I run Matt Cruz's old Alexa server, skill server repo from Node, the Node package, to run my skill off of my laptop, then use a library called Cylon to connect the skill to the robot, and then the skill can issue commands to the robot. So that was a lot of fun. The fun thing is that to get it actually working now, I have to use Node Version Manager and drop down to like Node 5 or Node 6 to prevent Cylon from just going nuts and breaking when you try to install it. Steps and process to convert Alexabot into an Alexa enabled. I don't think, do we have I don't know if there's a tutorial on converting your Lexbot to Alexa, but that's definitely a good question that we can bring to our Slack and let people comment on, that everybody can enjoy. Let me go back up here and we will close that. And once again, Alexa.design/Slack. If you're not a member, please join and join us in, we're going to be closing this down in about a minute. So come to Alexa.design/Slack, get yourself a membership, join us in the APL channel. We'll be launching APL Power Hour After Hours in just a minute, and we'll see you there. So with a minute left, I want to say thank you very much to Austin Vach for joining us, and he will hopefully be a regular guest. But we will also try to bring in other luminaries of the APL world, including some of you. Remember, DM me on the Slack or on Twitter if you want to give a lightning talk here on the APL Power Hour. And on behalf of Austin and on behalf of myself, I thank you for joining us. We are going to end the broadcast in just a moment. I will turn the background music back on. And thank you all for the questions. See you in Slack. And join us again next week when we'll be talking more APL. Hopefully, definitely, I want to focus on APLA next week. And we should have some really great content then. And we'll see you in just a second on Slack.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for hanging. The stream will begin shortly.